Aloha everybody, welcome back to the channel, Nuts and Volts. So I recently did a video about when I was driving through Lahaina. It was about 2 days after the fire. It got like over 400,000 views, which totally blew my mind. Now I feel like I have a duty to help out my people of Maui. They're hurting bad, really bad. So I'm going to be talking to a friend today. His name is Arnold. He lost both of his homes and everything in it. He's also in the insurance game, so I thought he'd be the perfect person to talk about how to file your claims and give you hints and tips of what to do. I also worked with him. He was an EMT for many years, and that's actually how I met him. I also want to help him out by making this video for him, by getting his story out there, and hopefully getting some donations from you folks to give directly to him through a Venmo account. I'll leave that in the description below. There's going to be no middleman, 100% will go straight to him. Lastly, I want to talk about the cat video that I have and also the other video. I'm going to try and create a Rumble account, and hopefully I can get it on there and show you folks the video. Alright folks, so I'm going to introduce you to Arnold.
Aloha.
I've known him for many years, and
that's right.
Yeah,
Partners when you first came, huh, Fred?
long time ago. When did you even start?
2003 was my class.
2003.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've known each other 20 years?
Right?
That is crazy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, so we want to hear your experience on that day of the 8th.
Yeah, interesting day all the way around. No power because of the high winds from the hurricane. So no communication whatsoever on the west side. So no cell, no internet, no landline. There was tons of wind. I was in my back patio. Might get a little windy today. Cleaning up my workbench that had stuff that could fly away, and the winds were pretty strong, 50 mile an hour, 30 mile an hour consistent, and then I guess 80 to 90 mile an hour occasional gusts. So I was putting stuff away, and then I'd gone to lay down in the ohana and just take a breath in the shade, and my son came up, and outside he said, "Dad, the smoke's getting close." I said, "What are you talking about?" I had no idea there was a fire. And apparently he knew that there was one earlier and that had been some going on.
What time was this?
This was, he told me yesterday, it was like 4:30 in the afternoon. He said, "Dad, the smoke's getting close." I said, "What are you talking about?" And I immediately went out front to see what was going on and was blown away that everything, it was black. And there was embers coming, and I just said, "We got to go right now." We had 5 Labrador puppies that we still had to find homes for, so we grabbed our rescue dogs and took them to the van, and my son and his mom got in the van and went down Dickinson, and we had just about a minute to grab anything, if that, maybe 20 seconds, and after the puppies, we secured the puppies and the dogs, and then Sal grabbed her bag, the boy's mom grabbed her purse. But yeah, like 50 grand in cash, and everything we own. The house is gone, ashes. So I hopped in my cart. I just put a lithium battery in a golf cart, and the embers were coming. I couldn't really look north. I had to turn my head because the smoke was so thick. So it must have been the school was already fully engulfed, and my neighbor's house I couldn't even see because of the smoke. But I could see my 2 trucks, my son's truck and my truck, that we'd worked so hard with. And I'm like, okay, later. Gonna have to leave you guys here. And then
So you left on a golf cart?
On my cart, I just put a lithium battery. So, yeah, my truck is parked on the side and has some stuff for the dump, and my son's truck, and I didn't have the key on me. I had the golf cart key. I was just, I think I had it in my pocket from the thing, so I knew I had that. And anyway, that was the choice of vehicle. So went down Dickinson with my shirt over my face and embers in my face, but yeah, and then I just hopped out of the cart and turned the video camera on, and then here comes Hoku and his mom. There they are. And behind them it's probably blowing straight over where obviously our house was, and coming this way. So on that cart, we grabbed some masks and kept going back to Shaw Street where the fire department was, and they had blocked off the intersection. I don't know why, because everybody knows not to go down a road that's fully engulfed. So I wish they would have been on their apparatuses saying, hey, run for your lives, because that's what needed to be done. So there was no way for them to even fight the fire, and the fire was getting closer and closer. So I kept doing loops, and I even crossed the highway and went up to see what it was looking like from a better vantage point. And it's like, no, we got to evacuate from here. This isn't a safe spot. So, and even one guy, the neighbor, was talking about the plan's going to go to the water. I said, no, uphill, upwind. You can't go to the water. You can't breathe that, and you certainly can't breathe the smoke. So, and this is the end of Front Street. Yeah, as I saw the church, Wyola Church, going up the straw next to it, it just, all of Lahaina is gone. And it happened so quick. Like literally, I think when Koku said, Dad, the smoke's getting...
It's tough when you hear it from your son.
He saved our life. If he didn't say that, I wouldn't be here. Anyway,
Yeah.
so, yeah, fucking right on, Hoku. Thanks,
Was Noah there too?
Noah, my other son, was not. He was in, he was pool hopping with friends out of town, but he knew there was a fire, and he didn't have communication either, so his car, and I drove down to as far as I could get into Lahaina at Hokiokio, and Officer Roy said, no, it's all gone, Puiki's gone, Dickinson's gone, and so I knew where we were at. And then to get communication, I drove out towards the firing range in Ukamahame around just 5-10 miles past, like 5 miles past Alani and Poco, and I was able to get some cell phone reception so I could communicate with my boys and their mom and wherever the other friends were, because I had no address. I drove around on my cart trying to find sign of their vehicle, but once you got up off the top down by the smoke and everything, it was just, you just watch it go down. It was crazy. After we went up to my friend Brett's house up Lani Upoko, Brett Neary, Denise and Neary's awesome friends, and they took in so many people that night. There was like 12 dogs with my 5 Labrador puppies and their parents, and Pitbull. Everybody was cruising, but it was just a safe place. But we had to evacuate from there at 5 in the morning. The fires came around there and got into the fields, and we had to get out of there. And then we all ended up at 5 in the morning, 5:30, I think we got out of there. And everybody went and met at the Central Site. We all met at Target in the parking lot and went and bought some new clothes. So we fortunately found all our 5 Labradors good homes, and everybody was safe. We made it out with our lives, and that's really all that matters at that point, because I heard a lot of good friends shortly after that. I found out a lot of people, my neighbors, a lot of them didn't want to go. They're the Kapuna's kids that they're Kapuna now.
So when did you get to go back to see your property?
I never have been allowed back yet.
Oh.
It's been over a month and a week now, and I haven't had a chance. So Noah got to go back, my oldest boy, the day they said that people can go back in. But Noah made it to the site with my son and saw my sons that passed away 3 years ago. Shit.
And he found something pretty significant, right?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so my oldest son, Koa Okazaki Arnold, he passed away, but he was an amazing, the term is with ceramics, just incredible. So we had dozens and dozens of pieces of his ceramics by his memorial and outside memorial and on the shelf. Just amazing because he had so much of it. So yeah, he found Koa's actual ashes of my son in a brass urn. And then next to it, he saw a little spot, he said, and then he grabbed in and pulled out his mom's favorite vase that Koa made. So it's just a small hairline crack, but it was on a shelf, so it made its way to the ground. It still had the little lid on it.
Wow.
That ting, just
Yeah.
he's amazing artist. So yeah, she's so blessed to be able to find that. It's kind of like, I think, his way of saying, do whatever you need to do, burn the neighborhood down. I'm not leaving. Still with us. So
absolutely.
pretty beautiful.
I'm sure he had something to do with that too.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope people can sense through the things in life that there is a higher energy. Call whatever power you want to call it. Name whatever. Yeah, right on. Whatever. If you don't, it's just, I feel for you. This energy doesn't cease to exist. We're all a vibration of it. So
Chris has had a pretty hard time over the last 3 years, and he's still standing. So has a positive energy, and
yes, sir.
I'm praying for him.
Thank you.
But let's move on to what you do now, and to hopefully help other people that are in your same position, losing houses and everything that you own. Dealing with the insurance side.
So my job's kind of rare, and most people have never heard of what I do. And I do it part-time when a case arises, so I'm allowed to do what I want to do in my life. But I do this on the side as what's called a private appraiser. And when you have a claim, which right now, when most of us have a fire damage claim, some of them may be wind or smoke, but regardless, when you have a claim, your insurance company sends an adjuster, and they're backed by an army of attorneys and deep pockets. And then who's protecting your interests? Well, in this state, there's a company called Hawaii Public Adjusters who are very good friends of mine and have taken care of me, but you can hire whoever you want to take care of it. You need someone that's a public adjuster to cover all the ambiguous language, the stuff in the policy that's even not in the policy. I'm getting off track. So the public adjuster and the insurance adjuster cannot come to an agreement on the value of your loss. The insurance adjuster will say it's worth this. The public adjuster says, no, it's worth this. If you can't get them there, then you can trigger your appraisal clause in your policy. And everybody's afforded this appraisal clause in their homeowner's policy in the U.S. So what happens is, I'm a private appraiser, you retain me, and the insurance company has 20 days to pick an appraiser, and we have 15 days to pick an umpire. And essentially it's a tribunal. We facilitate it, and whatever the other appraiser and I can't come to an agreement on, the umpire has to make a decision on his own.
Does the homeowner need an appraiser?
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing, is you don't need them, but you should, as from personal experience. I had no idea what a public adjuster was until Ryan, our coworker, Ryan Jocelyn, he found out that I had solar panels put on my roof years ago when I was a EMT, and they put the solar panels marched on the roof. The next thing I know, my roof is leaking like a sieve. And I called my insurance company and says, hey, my roof leaks and my Koenig ceiling is now completely soaked. And he goes, well, bro, sorry, it's old roof, you're not covered. So I think I was grumbling about it at work, and Ryan says, why don't you let me handle that case? I said, what are you talking about? I handle that claim. So what are you talking about? He said, well, I'm a public adjuster. I said, well, what is that? And he explained that his father owns the firm and that. And anyway, long story short, my insurance company said, nope, not covered. Ryan was able to give me $18,000 to fix my roof. Wow. And that's pretty much what it cost to pay my labor. But I was able to do, I'm a carpenter too, and I built for 40 years. So I know where all the mistakes and the money are. I know I've screwed everything up once. I know how to do it all now. So I know what goes into this, especially when I argue over these appraisals. But even today, yesterday, I finished a claim, and it's sneaky language, and the way they write the awards, or I write the award, and all, there's so much to it that it's dangerous, I would say. This is probably the first time I've said it. It's dangerous to handle it on your own. And I'm not trying to make money for anybody. I'm just advising that even if you don't retain like Hawaii Public Adjusters, you can use them an hourly to have them review your policy. If whatever, and I'm willing to look at your policy for free, just to help you understand. And the main thing I want to tell people, that I tell anybody that calls me for free, is file your claim. Take that first round of money for whatever additional living and personal property you can get from your insurance, because it's probably going to be a while before you get to speak to them again. And a lot of those initial adjusters are probably already off the islands and working on other disasters that have already happened since ours. So there's a 2-year statute of limitations. It's hard to keep up with their deep pockets for 2 years. So once you trigger appraisal, that stops and I can take care of it. But it doesn't mean I get everything that my client's asking for, but it facilitates an end. And the good thing is there's a consumer clause where sometimes if they're really, really bad insurance and bad faith, and it's easy to prove in court, they can be held to triple damages, and sometimes that puts a match under their business practices.
So say you're a homeowner.
Yeah.
You have a mortgage.
Yeah.
Your house burned down.
Yeah.
Are you still going to be, should we still pay for this mortgage that the house is gone?
I would say right now keep making your payments, because from my own personal experience, and that's why we need help, because what happens when you sign the forbearance, when they tack that onto the end of the loan, they're going to modify the terms of your loan once it's done. And you can apply forbearance over and over and over, usually if it's a federally backed home, I believe up to 2 years. So that sounds like a good idea until they start getting with the paperwork that they don't send to the right place. And all of a sudden, for me, on the COVID forbearance on my rental property, they sent the FedEx to the post office box, and you can't do that. So I didn't get my documentation, and then a month goes by. Oh, we're really busy. I said, okay, well, where's my documentation? Oh, well, you went into foreclosure on this date. I said, what? So one of my bankers lost her home. So there's so much hidden. Again, this is insurance game, and now you're looking at the banking industry, and you know how corrupt that is. So I mean, we've already bailed them out once. It's another way for them to get in and give you a 1% modified loan. They're gonna get their money. They're gonna stretch it to 40 years, but you're only gonna have to pay 1%. But my worry is that, my fear is that, what happens when you're late? Do they get your house? What else is buried in that policy? And so I would advise everybody, just speak to an attorney or speak to a public adjuster about what you might know about what's in your policy. I don't want to give anybody legal advice because I'm not an attorney. It would be wrong for me to. What I'm doing is, for now, I'm paying my mortgages, both my houses, and I'm not getting any income. I have supplemental income for loss of use on my rental, and I have my own loss of use, or my own additional living expenses for my primary.
So what could they do if you stop paying your mortgage?
You go into default, and they'll foreclose on your home and take your house.
Okay. So you definitely want to pay.
You want to make sure the mortgage is being paid, or you have an agreement of forbearance. So, or some other way. I'm not a mortgage broker either. My sister is in California, and she's Heather Coletto is amazingly smart when it comes to the different types of loans you can get. So there's many. Mine happen to be both backed by the government, so I believe I'm entitled to some of the help when it comes to these disasters or a COVID or an issue. But like I say, even if you're out there handing out 1% loans, they're dangerous. And in my opinion, they're dangerous, and you better be careful and make sure that if you do go into one, everything you do, I'm telling everybody that has any type of claim, whether you own a home or not, everything you do, document in an email. If you talk to someone on the phone, say thank you for your conversation in an email. Make sure you make reference to that phone call. That's what's going to get you your claim facilitated, is documentation. And if you're on the phone, I never talk to him. Believe me, that's the nicest part of how these claims go. When they just say, no, I've never heard of you.
That's a great
so they all do it, and it's all the same. And those of you in the business that are adjusting for insurance companies, I know your game.
So what's the first step into filing an insurance claim? Should they call someone like you first?
No. You do. You're you're legally obligated under your policy to make the claim to your insurer. So whoever your insurance company is, they need to be. A lot of people are worried what to do, but the very first thing is call your insurance company, make your claim, okay, and ask for a copy of your declaration or of your entire policy. Okay, so get your entire policy. Then you have ammunition in front of you. Okay, so here's how much I'm entitled for. I call them buckets. A is your building. How much are you insured for your building? B is other structures. Your ohana outside, or your sheds, whatever blew away or burned up. C is your personal property. How much valuables did you have in your house, down to your toothbrush and that rare bottle of Bain de Soleil sunscreen that is worth $375 now. So all of that's a value. So make your claim. Take that first round of checks. Don't sign any major agreements or documents. Just because you get a check doesn't mean you agree to that amount as your claim. And like Robert from HPA Hawaii Public Adjusters said, that they can go back I believe, up to 2 years and reopen a claim if it's been handled unfaithfully or bad business. So make your claim. You have to make a claim. You made that agreement when you signed your insurance policy. So you have to let them know, I got a claim. Then they'll take that first check, because it's going to be a while before you get another, I promise you. And in the language of the policy, people need to remember, get your personal property list together. Start itemizing everything and how much it costs. What's it cost to replace? The term RCV, replacement cost value, minus the depreciation equals your ACV, actual cost value. That's what you're going to get paid for until you show that you built it back or got all your stuff back. Then you'll get your depreciation back. They're going to withhold a bunch of depreciation. I just had a company, they just withheld, they signed the award and withheld $250,000 in depreciation off of $650. So they're gonna hold hostage that $250, and unfortunately that's just the game they play, and my client will be lucky to get it back.
Wow.
They'll get the portion for the building because they can prove it, but she got to buy back every single thing she had. It's a game they play. So start your lists. That's going to be the hardest, and itemize everything, and then keep a paper trail.
Okay, great tips.
Yeah.
I'll get your Venmo info, and I'll leave it in the comments for anybody who wants to donate to Chris here.
Yeah. Never asked for anything in my life, but I can definitely use the help, my friends. So,
absolutely. We all need help sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time.
Shooties.
And all the information. I'm sure a lot of people out there are also very thankful.
Yeah, my pleasure. And yesappraisal.us is a free website you can go to that answers what I just talked about, what an appraiser, what an adjuster, what an appraiser. It tells a little bit about what I did, the ambulance and construction. But it also, you can call me just to ask any vague questions you have. But when it comes to the policy language, a lot of times I can look at it, but I'll give it to the attorney at the office because it can be really confusing even for me.
The descriptions, I'm going to leave contact to Chris. I have his Venmo for donations, so please give. I'll have his email and his website to his business. I just want to thank Chris for coming by and sharing his story, and also offering his expertise in the insurance game. And he's offering for you folks to contact him if you guys have any questions. And I think it's a great thing to get everybody else on their feet. He's the perfect person. He's lost 2 homes in the Lahaina fire, and really appreciate him coming by and sharing his story. All right, folks, spread the aloha, especially to people like Chris that are really hurting to get back on their feet. Mahalos.